What's up, everyone? Welcome to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about Portugal the Man's new album, SHISH. SHISH. Portugal the Man's new album, SHISH. So we'll start with the album cover. I'll put it on screen right here so you can see what I'm talking about. It's a mostly white album cover because they're in an Arctic tundra, environment. It's got a man covered head to toe with a spear stuck just behind him in the snow and some game that he just killed. The title of the album was something I had to look up. It's called SHISH, and it makes me think of shish kebab at first, but I was like, well, not sure if that's it. But I looked it up. Apparently it's a Turkish word meaning a sharp stick or skewer. So like a shish kebab, and that's where the word comes from. So I guess it was even that, and I guess it makes sense in the with the context of the album cover with the spear in the background sticking out. So the new album has 10 tracks. It's about 41 minutes long, so it's a medium-length album, and we'll jump right into it with the first song. So the first song is Denali, and that starts off with a heavy synth, pretty heavy guitar riff, and then after a little bit it explodes into a much more energetic guitar riff that just sounds great. The heavy instrumentals contrast really well with John Gorley's high-pitched, almost angelic-like vocals. One thing I noticed right off the bat is that it's got a more pop-punk sound, and it's kind of got an upbeat mood to it. We take kind of a jarring transition into the next song, which is called Pitmen Ralliers. The previous song ended kind of like melodically and, I guess, soft, but this track is much more hardcore punk than the pop punk sound on the previous track, and it actually features the vocals of Fear Before's David Marion. And this track through and through is just very energetic and angry sounding. I think we take a very smooth transition into the next song. I like the flow from the Pitmen Ralliers into the next song, and Goon. The previous song ended on a very soft note as well, with sort of like acoustic ending, and that's where the next song picks up, so I think it was a very good transition. And the acoustic guitar goes on for about a minute before it transitions into a heavier punk rock sound again that we've been hearing on the album so far. This track has some great guitar work on the second half, which is something I have forgot to mention, but I'm just loving the guitar on this album so far. This track has some great guitar work in the second half, and it's actually something that's been pretty consistent throughout the whole album. Is the guitar is just very refreshing. It's very pleasant to listen to. It's one of the things that I think really stood out on this album. I'd say this track probably does the best job on the album of blending their more recent sound of the last couple years, the last some years, with their earlier sound from the the earlier days. We've got another good transition into the next song, which is called Nick. This one has a more poppy sound, especially compared to the rest of the album, with some pretty noticeable psychedelic influences as well. While this is the first song that has sort of the pop sound on the album, it's noticeably pretty gloomy, but this track gets much heavier in the second half with the synths and the guitar kicking in. It's got a great guitar solo in the back half of the track. Next, we go into the title track of the album, SHISH. This one starts off with this kind of weird high-pitched voice. It doesn't sound like bad, I like it, but it then kind of turns into the beat as the guitar kicks in, so it's looped over and over. This track has a more alternative rock sound as opposed to the pop or punk rock that we've heard so far. It's probably the most upbeat so far on the album, but the lyrics are pretty like dark and hopeless, so it's a nice contrast there. Next we go into the track Mush. This one's very energetic and fast-paced. It's got these like oohs that keep repeating that remind me of surf rock, but it really has more of a pop-punk sound than anything else, I would say. The song is very fast-paced the whole way through, but near the end it slows down for just a little bit and then sort of speeds right back up and gets just as fast-paced as it has been. The next track is Tionek. I'm probably mispronouncing that. It starts off very slow. It's got a melancholy sound, but after about a minute, the drums kick in that really remind me of the drums that open the song I Miss You by Blink-182. And then shortly after that, the song transitions into a much heavier sound that we've been hearing throughout the album with some, again, great guitar work. I thought the last track was hard to pronounce. The title of this next track is Cockanakers. But this one has a much more, this one is almost a full-blown pop sound, pop rock sound, much more so than the rest of the album, but it still fits well, I feel like, especially with the introduction of the pop elements earlier in the album. It of course has John Gourley's high-pitched melodies, which I think have really, over the years, become a defining characteristic of Portugal the Man. This track has a more upbeat mood, but very reserved energy, especially compared to the rest of the album. The next track on the album is Tanana, or Tanana, sort of like banana, but with a T instead of a B. This one I would say is the most pop-sounding track on the entire album. It's got a lot of psychedelic elements, it's very in that nature, and it's another upbeat sounding song, but with pretty depressing lyrics when you listen to them. From there we move into the final track of the album, which is titled Father Gun. This one starts off very chaotic with a bunch of different instruments just being very expressive, but they all sort of calm down and coalesce into a nice tune as John Gourley's soothing melody comes in. The song overall really feels grandiose. It feels like the end. It feels like it's meant to be an ending to something. I think it really helps give the album that experience feeling, that sense of size and scope as well. I think the recording quality for the album overall was really good. I enjoyed the mix, the production. I think the album sounded well. There are only a few moments in the album really that felt out of place, or I felt were unnecessary, or that I just kind of overall didn't like. But overall, I think it's a pretty good album by Portugal the Man. I was pleasantly surprised. I really enjoyed the guitar all the way through. A pretty great album, and I was pleased to listen to it. I recommend you listen to it as well. Thanks for sticking around till the end. I hope you enjoyed the breakdown, review, I really don't know what to call it, of the album of Portugal the Man's new album, Shish. Again, I recommend you give it a listen, and we'll see you guys next time.